Welcome to my 20-part series of reading Their Eyes Were Watching God. Now, I don't really like this book, but I'm going to have to read it because it's an assignment. I'm gonna have to annotate it. Um, and so I don't have time to make content, so I'm going to do both at the same time, and we'll see what happens together. Alright, let's just jump into it. I'll probably try to make it interesting by reading it in some sort of like Morgan Freeman voice or something, I don't know. But we'll just start casually. Is the music too loud? I'm not sure. Alright, let's start reading. Ships at a distance have every man's wish on board. For some, they come in with the tide. For others, they sail forever on the horizon, never out of sight, never landing until the watcher turns his eyes away in resignation, his dreams mocked to death by time. That is the life of men. Now women forget all those things they don't want to remember, and remember everything they don't want to forget. The dream is the truth. Then they act and do things accordingly. So the beginning of this was a woman, and she had come back from burying the dead. Not the dead of the sick and ailing, with friends at the pillow and the feet. She had come back from the sodden and the bloated, the sudden dead, their eyes flung wide open in judgment. The people all saw her come because it was sundown. The sun was gone, but he had left his footprints in the sky. It was the time for sitting on porches beside the road. It was the time to hear things and talk. These sitters had been tongueless, earless, eyeless conveniences all day long. Mules and other brutes had occupied their skins. But now the sun and the boss man were gone. So the skins felt powerful and human. They became lords of sounds and lesser things. They passed nations through their mouths. They sat in judgment, seeing the woman as she was made them remember the envy they had stored up from other times. So they chewed up the back parts of their minds and swallowed with relish. They made burning statements with questions and killing tools out of laughs. It was mass cruelty, a mood come alive, words walking without masters, walking all together like harmony in a song. What's she doing? Coming back here in them overhauls? Can't she find no dress to put on? Where'd that blue satin dress she left here in? For all that money her husband took and I left her. What that old 40-year-old old man doing with her hair swinging down her back like some young gal? Where she left that young lad of a boy she went off here wide. I thought she was gonna marry. Where he left her. What he done with all her money. Betcha he off with some gal so young she ain't got no hairs. Why she don't stay in her class. When she got to where they were, she turned her face on the bander log and spoke. They scrambled a noisy good evening, and left their mouths setting open and their ears full of hope. Her speech was pleasant enough, but she kept walking straight on to her gate. The porch couldn't talk for her looking. The men noticed her firm. Before I read this, this isn't so family friendly, I'm sorry. The men noticed her firm buttocks, like she had grapefruits in her hip pockets, the great rope of black hair swinging to her waist and unraveling in the wind like a plume, that her pugnacious breasts trying to bore holes in her shirt. They, the men, were saving with the mind what they lost with the eye. The women took the faded shirt and muddy overalls and laid them away for remembrance. It was a weapon against her strength, and if it turned out of no significance, still, it was hope that she might fall to their level someday. But nobody moved, nobody spoke, nobody moved, nobody spoke, nobody even thought to swallow, spit until after her gate slammed behind her. Pearlstone opened her mouth and laughed real hard because she didn't know what else to do. She fell all over Mrs. Sumpkins while she laughed. Mrs. Sumpkins snorted violently and sucked her teeth. Hum! Y'all let her worry, huh? You ain't like me. I ain't got her to study though. If she ain't got manners enough to stop and let folks know how she been making out, let her go on. I don't know what guan is. She ain't even worth talking after. Lulu Moss drawled through her nose. She sits high, but she looks low. That's what I say about this old woman running after young boys. Phoebe Watson hitched her rocking chair forward before she spoke. Well, nobody don't know if it's ain't anything to tell or not. Me, her best friend, and I don't know. Maybe us don't know into things like you do, but we all know how she went away from here, and us show seen her come back. Tain't no use in your trying to cloak no old woman like Janie Stocks, Phoebe, or no friend. At that, she ain't so old as some things of y'all that's talking. She's way past 40 to my knowledge. Phoebe, no more'n 40 at the outside. She's way too old for a boy like Tea-Cake. Tea-Cake ain't been no boy for some time. He's round thirsty for his own self. Don't care what it was. She could stop and say a few words with us. She act like we done something to her. Pearl Star Stone complained. She they one been doing wrong. You mean you mad 'cause she didn't stop and tell us all her business. Anyhow, what you ever know her to do so bad as y'all make out? The worst thing I ever knowed her to do was taking a few years off her age, and that ain't never harmed anybody. Y'all make me tired the way you talking. You think the folks in this town didn't do nothing in the bed except praise the Lord. You have no excuse me, 'cause I'm bound to go take her some supper. Phoebe stood up sharply. Don't mind us, Lulu smiled. Just go right ahead. Us can mind your Don't mind us, Lulu smiled. Just go right ahead. Us can mind your house for you till you get back. My supper's done. You better go see how she feel. You can let the rest of us know. Lord, Paul agreed. I done scorched up that little meat and bread took too long to talk about. I can stay away from home long as I please. My husband ain't fuzzy. I thought it said my husband ain't furry. Oh, her, Phoebe, if you guys ready to go, I could walk over there with you. Mrs. Gumpkins volunteered. It's sort of a dusking down dark. That booger man might catch you. Nah, I thank you. Nothing couldn't catch me these few steps I'm going. Anyhow, my husband told me he say no first class booger would have me. If she got anything to tell you, you'll hear it. Phoebe hurried on off with a covered bowl in her hands. She left the porch, pelting her back with unasked questions. They hoped the answers were cruel and strange. When she arrived at the place, Phoebe Watson didn't go in by the front gate and down the palm walk to the front door. She walked around the fence corner and went to the intimate gate with her heaping plate of mulatto rice. I don't know how to say this, I'm sorry. Janie must be round that side. She found her sitting on the steps of the black porch with the lamps all filled and the chimneys cleaned. Hello, Janie. How are you coming? Pretty good. Trying to soak some the tiredness and the dirt out of my feet. She laughed a little. I see you which, gal. You sure looks good. You looks like you're your own daughter. They both laughed. Even with old Mobash, you shows your womanhood. Guan Guan. You must think I brought you something when I ain't brought home nothing by myself. That's a gracious plenty. Your friends wouldn't want nothing better. I takes the flattery of you, Phoebe, 'cause I know it's from the heart. Janie extended her hand. Good Lord, Phoebe, ain't you never going to give me that little ration you brought me? I ain't had a thing on my stomach today except my hand. They both laughed easily. Give it here and have a seat. I knowed you'd be hungry. No time to be hunting. Stove wood after dark. Mulatto rice ain't so good this time. Not enough bacon grease, but I reckon it'll kill hungry. I'll tell you in a minute. Janie said, lifting the cover. Gal, it's too good. You switches a mean fanny round in the kitchen. Aw, that ain't much to greet. Eat, Janie. But I'm liable to have something sure enough good tomorrow, 'cause you done come. Janie ain't hardly and said nothing. The very colored cloud dust that the sun had stirred up in the sky was settling by slow degrees. Here, Phoebe, take your plate. I ain't got a bit of use for sorry. I ain't got a bit of use for a empty dish. That grub show come in handy. Phoebe laughed at her friend's rough joke. Yo's just as crazy as you ever was. Hand me that wash rag on that chair by you, honey. Let me scrub my feet. She took a cloth and rubbed vigorously. Laughter came to her from the big road. Well, she, mouth almighty, is still sitting in the same place, and I reckon they got me up in that mouth now. Yes, indeed. You know, if you passion people and they don't speak to them, they got to go way back in your life and see what you ever done. They know more about you than you do yourself. An envious heart makes a treacherous ear. They done heard about you just so what they hope done happen. If God didn't think no more about 'em than I do, they's a lost ball in the high grass. Ah, here's with what they cause. They just will collect around my porch, 'cause it's on the big road. My husband gets so sick of 'em sometime he makes 'em all get for home. Sam is right too. They just wearing out your shitting chairs. Yeah, Sam, most of 'em goes to church, so they'll be sure to rise in judgment. That's the day that every secret is supposed to be made known. They wants to be there and hear it all. Sam is too crazy. You can't stop laughing when you're around him. Uh-huh. He says he aims to be there himself, so he can find out who stole his corncob pipe. Phoebe, that Sam of yours just won't quit. Crazy thing. We're doing time. Most of these jigaboos shall head up your old business till they liable to hurry them they self to judgment to find out about you if they don't soon know. You better make haste and tell them about you and TK getting married. And if he taking all your money and went off with some young gal, and where he is now and where he is at all your clothes that you've got to come back here in the overalls. I don't mean to bother with telling him nothing, Phoebe. 'Tain't worth the trouble. You can't tell him what I say if you wants to. That's just the same as me, 'cause my tongue is in my friend's mouth. It's a bit weird. If you show desire, tell them what you'll tell me to tell them. To start off with, people like them waste up too much time putting their mouth on things they don't know nothing about. Now they got to go look until me loving TK can see whether it was done right or not. They don't know if life is a mess of cornmeal dumplings and if love is a bed quilt. So long as they get a name to gnaw on, they don't care whose it is and what about, especially if they can make it sound like evil. If they want to see and know why they don't come kiss and be kissed, I could then sit down and tell them things. I've been a delegate to their big association of life. Just saw the grand lodge of their big convention of living is just where I've been this year and a half. Y'all ain't seen me. They sat here there in the young fresh darkness close together, Phoebe eager to feel and do through Janie, but hating to show her zest for fear it might be thought mere curiosity. Flip, I lost my place. Hold on. Yeah, but hating to show her zest for fear it might be thought mere curiosity. Janie felt that oldest human longing, self-revelation. Phoebe held her tongue for a long time, but she couldn't help moving her feet, so Janie spoke. They don't need to worry about me and my overalls, long as I still got my $900 in the bank. TK got me into wearing them, following behind him. TK ain't wasted about no money of mine, and he ain't left me for no young gal neither. He gave me every consolation in the world. He told them so too. If he was there, if he was gone, Phoebe dilated it all over with eagerness. TK gone? Yeah, Phoebe, TK is gone. And that's the only reason you see me back here. 'Cause ain't got nothing to make me happy no more where I was at. Down in the Everglades, down on the muck. It's hard for me to understand what you mean, the way you tell it. And then again, hard to understand it at times. Nah, there ain't nothing like you might think. So there ain't no use in me telling you something unless I give you the understanding to go along with it. Unless you see the fur of mink skin ain't no different from a coon hide. Look here, Phoebe is Sam waiting on you for supper. It's all ready and waiting. If he ain't got sense enough to eat it, that's his hard luck. Well then, we can sit right here where we is and talk. I got the house all opened up with to let this breeze get a little catching. Phoebe, we've been kissing friends for 20 years, so depend on you for a good thought. And I'm talking to you from that standpoint. Time makes everything old, so the kissing young darkness becomes a monstrous old thing while JD talked. Alright, that was chapter 1. Thank you for watching. I didn't understand anything in chapter 1, but we're still going to continue because I don't want to read chapter 1 again. I hope I get a good grade in the class after I do my annotations, my dialectical journals. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace out. No, I'm not doing that. Bye.